All right, let's talk about getting stronger. Today, we're going to cut through all the noise and confusing advice to give you a clear, science-backed blueprint that actually gets results. You know that feeling? You walk into the gym, you see all the machines, you hear a dozen different opinions on what to do, and you just feel kind of lost? You ever wonder if what you're doing is even working?
Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. But what if I told you there's a proven system, a set of rules grounded in actual biology that takes out all the guesswork and puts you on the fast track to real, safe results?
And guess what? There is. The world's top experts on this stuff, the National Strength and Conditioning Association. They literally wrote the book on it. And today, we're cracking open their manual and giving you the ultimate blueprint.
Okay, first up, we have to get a handle on the fundamental laws of getting stronger. And you should think of these less like guidelines and more like the laws of physics for your body. They're unbreakable. Get these right, and everything else just falls into place.
You know, in a world full of fitness fads and quick fixes, the manual says it perfectly. It is vitally important that you get the big things right. And that's what we're doing. Focusing on these core principles is the single most important thing you can do.
The first big thing is called the SAID principle. It stands for specific adaptations to impose demands. All that really means is your body gets good at exactly what you ask it to do. It's an incredibly efficient machine, but it's also very, very literal.
Think of it like this. If you train for a marathon, your body gets amazing at endurance. If you train for a sprint, it gets amazing at explosive power. The demand you place on it dictates the adaptation you get back. You can't train for one and just hope you get the results of the other.
So, if the body adapts, how do we keep, adapting? That's our second rule, progressive overload. See, once your body gets used to a certain stress, it basically says, okay, I'm good, and stops changing. To keep getting stronger, you have to gradually increase the challenge. You have to give it a new reason to build back stronger.
And of course, this street goes both ways. The fancy term is the principle of reversibility, but we all know it as use it or lose it. You stop giving your body that challenge, and being the efficient machine it is, it'll start getting rid of those gains you worked so hard for. Okay, so we've got the rules of the game. Be specific, keep overloading, and stay consistent. But why does this work? To figure that out, we got to pop the hood and look at the biological engine that turns a workout into actual real-world strength.
The whole process is explained by a model called the General Adaptation Syndrome, or GAS for short. It shows us how our bodies react to any kind of stress, and yes, a workout is a stress, in 3 stages. First comes alarm, then resistance, and then, if you push way too hard for way too long, you hit exhaustion.
This shows it perfectly. Your workout causes fatigue, and your performance actually dips down for a bit. That's the alarm phase. But then with proper rest, your body kicks into the resistance phase. And notice this, it doesn't just go back to normal, it bounces back higher than before. That little peak is called supercompensation, and that, right there, is the magic moment where you get stronger.
So in the real world, a smart training plan is all about riding this wave. You apply stress, you recover to that supercompensation peak, and then bam, right at the top, you introduce the next slightly tougher challenge. That's how you keep pushing that adaptation curve higher and higher over time. Okay, we've got the rules, we understand the biology. Now for the fun stuff. How do we put this all together? How do we take these ideas and build a real, effective training plan? Let's design the blueprint.
You know, the pros don't just wing it. They use a system called periodization, and it's all about planning from the big picture down to the small details. You start with a goal for the whole year. You break that into big chunks of a few months. Then you break those down into monthly blocks with a specific goal. And all of that tells you exactly what to do week by week.
Now, the real art of this is tweaking the variables inside that structure. You're kind of like a DJ, right? You're adjusting the sets, the reps, and the weight to get a very specific result. Maybe one month the focus is all about building muscle, and then next is about pure strength, all by changing those numbers.
In this table, this is basically your cheat sheet. It's called the repetition maximum continuum, and it's your roadmap. Simple as this. Want pure strength? You're living in the range of 6 reps or fewer. Want to build muscle size, what we call hypertrophy? The sweet spot is right there, 6 to 12 reps. It's a simple but incredibly powerful guide.
But let me be really clear, absolutely none of this matters. None of it if you get injured. So this final part of our blueprint isn't just important, it's the non-negotiable foundation for everything else, technique and safety.
Think of it like building a house. A workout plan is only as good as its foundation, and that foundation is perfect technique. Before you even think about adding more weight, you have to own your grip, your posture, and your breathing. Without that, even the best blueprint in the world is going to come crashing down. And you know, safety isn't just about you. It's about being a great training partner. Spotting a squat is a perfect example. Notice how the spotter here isn't just standing there waiting. No, they're an active participant. They're mirroring every move, totally engaged, and ready to help in an instant. There's even a spotter's code. It all starts with communication before a single rep is lifted. And pay really close attention to this last point because it's a huge safety rule. You never spot explosive power lifts. It's just too dangerous. Instead, you teach the athlete how to safely bail, how to get away from the bar if they miss.
And while we're talking about squats, let's use this quote from the manual to bust a huge myth once and for all. Squats are not bad for your knees. For healthy joints, the exercise itself is not the problem. The problem is almost always bad technique. Good form doesn't just protect your joints, it makes them stronger.
And really, that's the core of this entire blueprint. It's about a shift in how you think. The goal isn't just to lift heavy, the goal is to lift smart. It's about applying science, respecting the principles. That's where real, lasting progress is made.
So there you have it. The unbreakable rules, the biology that makes them work, and the blueprint for putting it all into practice. The knowledge is officially yours. The only question left is, how are you going to build your next workout?